Welcome back to round number 4 of our cup here. First cup of the 2026 season at Psycho Turtle in Pico Rivera, California. I am Dennis Geisler. I have Huecoco with me. Again, this is a cup. There are real points on the line, especially since, I mean, there have been a couple of cups in the first couple of weeks of the year, but not a lot of people have been playing these cups so far, and it's getting pretty exciting as to who can get these points here. Both these players are at 2-1. We've got Ashley Stelzer and Aaron Brok. You might recognize the second name. But it'll be a pretty interesting one regardless. Ashley running the Talonflame, Vivian, Golden Go, Garchomp, Alolan Ninetales, and Annihilate. Aaron with the Tyranitar, Corviknight, Excadrill, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Annihilate, and Amoonguss. We saw the power of, like, every Pokemon on Aaron's team, actually, at some point earlier today. We saw the Annihilate get a lot of work done. We saw the T-Tar Excadrill, along with that Amoonguss, of course. We saw the Blood Moon even help out earlier today, and the Corviknight appeared briefly. And on Ashley's side, we haven't seen a whole lot of these mons today. Obviously, we've seen Annihilate, and we've seen Golden Go, but a lot of these Pokemon we haven't seen a ton of just yet, and so I'm excited to see what kind of value they get out of this. It is an interesting weather matchup. We're seeing a lot more sand now, where sand is probably more common than sun. I don't know. Certainly seen it a lot more lately, but we've got the snow versus sand, which certainly no rain weather battle is always a weird one. Aaron's going to lead the T-Tar Amoonguss, Ashley going to lead the Talonflame and Garchomp. Of course, that Talonflame Garchomp, always a really nice lead. Talonflame's able to get the priority Tailwind. Garchomp is able to go for a big Earthquake. That's in an ideal situation. Of course, the Talonflame will lose its Gale Wings upon a single tick of Sand Chip. Tyranitar also has the Terra Flying, so it can opt out of being hit by Earthquake if it really wants. So, a lot of decision-making here, and also, Talonflame could just go for the priority dual Wing Beat into Amoonguss. Certainly can't now that Amoonguss isn't here. Corviknight is, though, and Corviknight will be able to dodge an Earthquake here. And the T-Tar will as well, if that is Aaron's Terra. It sure is, so that is 3 flying types on the field, alongside the Garchomp. Did Ashley call that out? No switch on the Garchomp. Garchomp protects. And Talonflame will taunt into the Corviknight, which is an interesting choice. Corviknight does have a lot of status moves. Well, not status specifically, but, no, it is a status move. Talonflame is gone. Talonflame has disappeared. Rock Slide happened and Talonflame is now gone. So it does get a taunt off, but not a whole lot else that it was able to achieve. And now it's a little bit of an awkward spot for Ashley to be in. Does get to bring out the Ninetales. This gets a little bit better now. You do have the speed advantage on both of your Pokemon. You're able to Blizzard, I think? Yeah, you're able to Blizzard here pretty freely. And while the Earthquake doesn't do anything to either of the opponents, you still get a nice little Dragon Claw onto whichever one you choose. Aaron's in a tough spot here, because nothing here is going to want to take a Blizzard. And the Blizzard's happening. The Dairy Queen motto. Amoonguss is going to come out here. It's going to take a bunch of damage to Blizzard. Not actually a crazy amount. Crits the Corviknight. And Amoonguss is going to chow down on its berry, which will be even better for it. Does get hit by the Dragon Claw. That's pretty good damage, honestly. Garchomp is Life Orb, which is part of the reason why that was such good damage. And Corviknight will go for the Brave Bird. It is boosted defense for the Ninetales in the snow. And now, it might come down to whether or not Blizzard hits. I would just let it rip. I would just let that Blizzard rip. We'll see if what the decision making is for Ashley. I would just let the Blizzard rip. I love double hitting my Blizzard even in Sand. It feels so good. But we'll see if that's what Ashley wants to go for. Because I believe the Amoonguss is probably going to switch back out into the Tyranitar here. Or the Corviknight, well, one of the two. Aaron will withdraw the Corviknight. It will be the Corviknight coming out, and probably the Tyranitar back in. It sure is. So, Sand is back active again. Ninetales goes for the Freeze Dry into the Amoonguss. We'll pick up the KO. And despite how disappointed I was by the decision, the pivoting has worked out decently for Ashley so far. That's a big Dragon Claw into the now neutral target of Tyranitar, which will also take some Sandstorm chip. Good lord. Good Arceus. I'm gonna lose my mind doing this. It is now T-Tar Excadrill on the field with Sand up, which is a really difficult spot to be in. Of course, at the same time, there's not a lot of damage into the Garchomp right now. Excadrill doesn't have great damage into it. Tyranitar doesn't have great damage into it. Probably doubling up, they'd be able to do something here, but ultimately, this is kind of a weird spot for Aaron to be in. You don't want to let Garchomp get too much damage down, particularly onto this Excadrill, which is Sash. Annihilate will come out here. It is Goggles, so it will actually be immune to the Sandstorm chip. Tyranitar will also switch out, so it might come down to who is able to pick up a KO first here. Corviknight comes back in. Excadrill Earthquakes. The moderate damage to both these targets. Stomping Tantrum into the Excadrill. Good damage, not going to pick up the knockout. Of course, because of the Focus Sash. That's why it didn't. I am paying attention, don't worry. Now the question, if you are Ashley, do you want to bring Ninetales back in to get rid of Excadrill and basically nothing else? Can you afford to do that, especially if Excadrill protects, which it has a very real chance of doing. Might come down to a read here, whether it's a switch in or not. Because either Excadrill could switch out for Tyranitar, or no switches. No switches at all. Unlike this tournament, where there are a lot of people using switches. That's how it works. So, no Protect from the Annihilate, though, and Annihilate gets crit! Annihilate gets crit and taken out. That is so difficult for Ashley. And with the Tailwind now from Corviknight, that will be Aaron certainly winning this one. That was really tough for Ashley there. Without the critical hit, Annihilate would have been able to do something. It would have been standing, it would have picked up a KO, it would have meant Ninetales could switch in later, get the snow up permanently. Now it's going to be really difficult for Ashley to find a way back into this one. Because at this point, I think there's nothing stopping Aaron from switching Corviknight into Tyranitar, Earthquaking, and winning this one. That's tough. That's a really tough crit there, but be able to move forward to game number 2. Yep, there's Corviknight switching out. Sand back up with Tyranitar, and keep it 1 HP. This Focus Sash Excadrill is really, really tough, because it's just able to take that one hit, and that one hit is really all it needs to get just so many attacks down, because you have to devote so much to either slowing it down, with switching in and out of weather, or all the other myriad ways that you can try to deal with an Excadrill like this. The lack of Incineroars is noteworthy, but it's also not a bad matchup into Incineroar. I've not seen an Incineroar all today. Haven't seen a whole ton of them lately. I wonder if that's a meta change that is going to persist, but regardless, Aaron Brok with the Game 1 victory. I kind of got on a tangent there about Extra Trail after it picked up the... after it was going for the Earthquake, but... I don't hate how Ashley wanted to play that game. Didn't end up working super well. The Talonflame didn't really get to participate in the battle, but it's really hard to play this when you have two Pokemon that are that weak to Rock against the Tyranitar. 3 Pokemon, even if you count the Ninetales. You kind of have to bring something that feels really bad against the Tyranitar. And it probably is still going to be the Talonflame. I think the 4 is perfectly fine, it just... position them better, I guess? I feel like is the best way to try to manage this matchup. Because Aaron did such an incredible job positioning around the weather last time, being able to get the Ninetales to not be able to keep its snow up for very long, being able to keep the sand up when it needed to be there, ignoring the snow when it didn't really matter. Even when Amoonguss dropped, it wasn't that big a deal. Although a Blizzard there would have... if Blizzard double connected there, it would have really changed things, but... that's neither here nor there. Ashley thinking hard about this lock-in here. See if Aaron wants to switch anything up. Didn't bring the Annihilate or the Blood Moon last time. Ashley, wait until that last second. You get that extra time to think. I think those 4 from Aaron are a pretty good choice, and see how the 2 of them play. It's gonna be the Corviknight Ursaluna this time, so I lied actually, and the bear is here. It's Talonflame Annihilate on the other end. That's certainly a bit of a change. I'm not sure... I've been thinking... sorry, I've been thinking in my head about this play for a moment, and I don't know what either of these players does here. Talonflame does have the opportunity to get a Tailwind off, but so does the Corviknight. Although, I think that the Talonflame Tailwind would put Annihilate faster than Corviknight. Well, it would certainly be faster than Corviknight's Tailwind. But then it would just be a question of what do you do about, you know, the whole, there's a Corviknight here, there's a very large crow and a very large bear. No switches, no Terras, we'll get the Tailwind immediately. Should mean Annihilate is next, and goes for a big Drain Punch into Ursaluna, does actually not that big of damage. Corviknight bulks up. It's gonna be a pretty scary bird, actually, and not too long. And Ursaluna Calm Mind! Just a pure setup turn from Aaron. Getting the Calm Mind and the bulk up from the Ursaluna and the Corviknight. And the Ursaluna is leftovers, which is noteworthy here. That was a lot of setting up there for Aaron. Question is, was it a little too passive for turn number 1 against Ashley? Does she have a way through this? She still has the priority on the flying moves for Talonflame, although I don't know if she necessarily wants to go for that right now. Annihilate will protect. We'll get no switches once again. Ursaluna will also protect. Now, I'd imagine we get another bulk up from the Corviknight. The Will-O-Wisp went into the... oh, it missed the Corviknight! That is another real tough... oh, but the Brave Bird does go into the protect. So that's still a difficult turn for Ashley, knowing that the Will-O-Wisp missed there. Definitely good for Aaron that it did, because now that puts Ashley in a bit more awkward of a spot, having to click Will-O-Wisp again on the Corviknight if you want to burn it. Man, that is tough. That is real tough. But Ashley still has all of the speed advantage on her side. Still has the priority flying type moves. And see the dual wing beat come out as that priority flying type move. Does pretty good damage. Critical hit on the second one. That should mean that the follow-up Drain Punch here is going to pick up the KO. And it sure does. So Ursulina drops. We'll see Corviknight attack now, I'd assume, going for that Brave Bird. Does go for the Brave Bird into the Annihilate. I'd imagine that KOs? Yes, it sure does. We'll do a lot of recoil back to Corviknight, but still got the monkey out of the way. Got the monkey off of his back, so to speak. See Ninetales come in here. Ninetales is fast, so it will not get the snow up because Tyranitar will get the Sandstream up second, which is kind of weird, kind of awkward. Yeah, that might have been a mistake from Ashley not bringing out the Garchomp there. Because Garchomp would be at least in a better spot to try to do something about this. Although at this point the Corviknight's getting... It's a little bit scary if you can't... I mean, obviously you want to eventually hit Will-O-Wisp against it, but it's getting a little bit concerning. Ninetales will switch right out of there. And Garchomp will come in. That is the same core for Ashley. Does finally connect on the Will-O-Wisp. So Corviknight is burned. It reduces its damage pretty significantly. Excuse me. It's tiring doing this all day. Talonflame completely drops to Rock Slide, but that does mean that Ninetales will get the switch in here. And Corviknight does take a little bit of chip from that burn. Ooh, but Tailwind is down now. That was the last turn of Tailwind for Ashley's side. So potentially Aaron is going to be faster here with these two Pokemon, the Tyranitar and the Corviknight. Ashley will have to try to find a way through this. What is the play here for Ashley? I don't really know. It depends on if these Pokemon outspeed. If they outspeed for Aaron, then this set is over. It's just going to be like a Rock Slide and a Brave Bird, and this set is over. There's the Corviknight moving first. Brave Bird into the Garchomp. Gets the critical hit, too. A lot of really good luck for Aaron here, I won't lie. We'll take a lot of recoil from the Rough Skin, and the knockoff as well into the Garchomp. Picks up the KO. But that does mean that Ninetales does get to Blizzard here. And we'll see how much this does. It'd be a pretty nice Blizzard. Oh wow, that did like no damage. Corviknight might drop? Ooh, Corviknight does not drop to the burn. That is also real difficult for Ashley because it means that the sand could get reset here, which would be additionally pretty bad for Ashley. No switches, and we'll get the Terra here. It probably doesn't matter. Because I think a Rock Slide probably ends things here. If a Rock Slide doesn't, we'll get the end soon enough. There's the Brave Bird. Reduced damage, but still enough to be a solid chunk there. Does drop the Corviknight. And the Rock Slide will connect, and we'll pick up the KO on the Ninetales. Aaron Brok with a very commanding 2-0 victory, although one that still required a bit of the Pokemoning. But regardless, he'll move up to 3-1 on the day, in pretty good position to make top cut. Ashley not out of it yet at 2-2. Loss like this won't put you out of it. Still have the chance to go 4-2 and getting up to the top cut. That's the word for it. But with that, we are going to just go to break. We will be back in just a moment with round number 5, so don't go anywhere.